Coming up, I'll show you how I made this beautiful mermaid, along with some wonderful magical creatures. I'm participating in the Fantasy Course Spring playlist, hosted by Annie over at Annie Jones. Make sure to check out her link in the description box and also the playlist. I had been making a lot of things with pine cones, including a pumpkin and an owl, and my friend Billy Burt challenged me to make a dragon. So using this deer that I had gotten at Dollarama, I cut it in half, and I had also gotten some hanging deer ornaments that I glued together, and by putting little pine cone leaves on, I made wings. So here I've got the glued together deer, and I'm just peeling off each piece of the pinecone leaves to the back, and I thought they looked so cool. Then I had gotten a stick from out in the yard, and I applied pine cones to that as well. That was going to be the body. Now it does take a long time to glue each piece of pine cone onto what your project is. I originally did all of these projects on live streams, and if you want to see those in their full detail content, I'll link them in the description box. Get access to my lives and future uploads for free. Click that subscribe button and make sure to hit that bell button on all to be notified when I go live or for future uploads. Once I made sure that the body fit well into the neck area, I proceeded with the head. The head needed horns, so I cut off the antlers and using some rope, made 2 little cones at the top of the dragon's head. Then I used pinecone to cover the dragon's face, the dragon's neck, and also at the back of the head, all the way up until I got to the horns. I wanted to leave those pinecone free because I wanted a more majestic look. Someone from the audience suggested that I use tin foil to make the dragon's tail, so I did do that. I rolled up some tin foil and then I covered it in pinecone for the tail. Here's how my dragon turned out. I thought it was awesome. It made such a wonderful mythical monster, like a giant reptile. I ended up painting the horns red, and I gave it eyes as well. And I had to do a little bit more touching up of the pine cones. What do you think of my dragon? Make sure to let me know in the comment section below, or just say hi. For my next DIY, another of my subscribers, William Ellis, suggested I make a Pinecone Mermaid. So using an empty Christmas wrapping paper roll, I folded it up and I created a W at the bottom. Then after shaping it how I wanted it, I used some black electrical tape about 1/4 of the way up to hold it together. Then I proceeded to glue on the pinecone leaves. This project took quite a lot of pinecone leaves. I got them originally in the fall from my neighbor's pine tree, just after the first snowfall. I've kept them in a barrel in my room all winter. They were very dry when I peeled each leaf, so it came off with ease. And I did use hot glue to glue them on. placing the pine cones on top of each other so that the gray part is showing and it gives a scale look, I glued each piece on, traveling from bottom to top until I got to where I wanted the mermaid's waist to be. I printed a silhouette of a mermaid's torso, and after sizing to fit, I used my scroll saw and I cut it out. I love using my scroll saw, and I use it often. If you want to see more videos of me using my scroll saw, I'll link a couple in the description box below. Once the piece was cut out, I remeasured it to make sure it fit correctly. I was just holding it up for my audience here so they could see. I did have to cut it a little bit just to make sure it went in perfect. And then using more electrical tape, I wrapped it around the waist area so it would fit snugly and the top would not come out. Here's what it looks like so far. Then I glued on more pine cones to cover the tape and complete the tail. When I got to the top, I didn't want to go too much further. So what I did is I took a knife and I just pushed down the black tape so it went into the tail part, because I didn't want the tape showing, but I also didn't want to put pine cones on the tape because the pine cones would have gone too far up. Next, I'm taking hot glue and I'm putting wavy lines on the mermaid, on where her hair would be. So I just did wavy line pattern all around her hair and also a little bit on her head and where her ear would be. And then I let that dry. I took out some paint from Dollarama and I painted her hair purple and 2 types of blue. I did paint on where the hot glue was, all one color, and then I went in with another color of blue and purple. Then I liberally put Mod Podge gloss all where her body goes, and I put some gold glitter on there as well to make her shiny, and I also sprayed adhesive spray on the mermaid's tail and put some gold glitter on that as well. Now I'm choosing a little bikini top for my mermaid, and I had some shells on hand that I had previously purchased at Dollarama, this little ornament, and I just took the shells out of there. And I was just choosing 2 of the shells to be the top. I couldn't decide which ones I should use, so I asked my live stream audience which one they liked the best, and they helped me choose the right top. They also told me where to put the top as well so it would look proper. I added some of the blue sand to her hair and also a little mini seahorse from some fairy lights that I had on hand. And my mermaid was complete. I love her, don't you? For my next DIY, again I asked my subscribers what I should make, and Geri from A Happy Hoarder suggested I made a phoenix. So I downloaded a picture off the net of a phoenix, and using carbon paper that I got in my new wood burning kit, I traced the outline of the phoenix onto the paper and it transferred onto the wood. There were some parts that didn't come out, so I used my pen to fill those in. I set up my pyrography pen with the pencil tip, making sure it was well tightened and turned to the highest setting. Have you ever tried wood burning? It's really fun drawing images and burning them into wood. The kit I got includes solid tips, stencils, wood shapes, coloring pencils, and a case. Different tips allow for different designs, just as you wouldn't use a fine tip marker for coloring in a large space. You won't want to use a small tip to burn a large area. The more accessories and tips a wood burning kit offers, the more types of designs you'll be able to accomplish with it. Once I got more comfortable with the wood burning tool, I got into a rhythm and I started wood burning faster. After I was finished the burning, I decided to paint the piece. I used yellows, oranges, and reds. I took a cloth and rubbed it all over the whole piece to blend all of the colors in together. And my phoenix literally rose from the ashes. I want to thank Annie over at Indie Annie Jones for hosting this awesome fantasy core open collaboration. Check out her link in the description box below. Fairies, mermaids, unicorns, gnomes, leprechauns, elves, and dragons all belong in the Fantasy Core Spring playlist. Click on the screen and I'll show you how I made this awesome fairy house.